Alright, we got a 10 spell Yak. Now that's a call to arms! Holy shit! Oh my god. Oh!
Let's get salty!
Hey everyone, Zeddy here again today with a brand new video, and we're gonna do the last type of this type of video for a little bit, but I thought it'd be a lot of fun. We went over the most broken expansion of all time, the worst expansion of all time. I want to go over the best expansion of all time, my absolute favorite, and this one is the most subjective of all. This is going to be more my personal favorite. You might have an expansion you love a lot more, like Frozen Throne, like Old Gods, whatever expansion you love, you're totally entitled to, but we're going to go over my favorite, what I think is the greatest of all time, and that includes the meta, the best meta of all time to go with it. And whoops, I happen to have my achievements page open here. Wow, that's a lot of 100%. What an accident. Anyways, let's go over what I feel is the greatest expansion in Hearthstone history. And for me, it's undisputed. It's not even close. Like, I don't even struggle with this. In its journey to Un'Goro, this is the time of Hearthstone I enjoyed the absolute most. I love the meta. Every class outside of Warlock, which we'll get to, was playable and good. And there was just so much cool stuff to do. The meta also included the Old Gods. The Old Gods expansion was a part of this, was part of that standard year. So there was some amazing stuff, and some might argue Frozen Throne because they really like the Death Knights. For me, I thought it took a little bit away from everything. I didn't like it as much, but overall still a great time in Hearthstone. And let's go over class by class why I loved Un'Goro so much. So starting off, there was quests. Quests were brand new, a part of Un'Goro. Every class got one. They would start in your opening hand and would require you to do something to get a 5 mana reward. And Druid had one of my favorite quests. It wasn't super playable or viable, but it was super fun, which was Jungle Giants, which if you played 5 minions with 5 or more attack, you got Barnabas, a 5 mana 8/8 that made all your minions cost 0. And I had a lot of fun. I ended up making a complete Old Gods. Every Old God was in this deck and did ridiculous stuff. Might be in the opening clip, I don't know. I might edit that in for you guys to enjoy. It was featured on Trollden, and yeah, I absolutely loved Un'Goro, and very flavorful with it. You had like the Forager, which wasn't great. Most of the actual support that went with it wasn't fantastic, but Earthen Scales actually was puke for me. I hated this card in Un'Goro because it was really good in Jades. They make a big green man and gate armor, but overall really cool. And you'll note most of my cards for Un'Goro are golden. This is when I really started going in the whale mode because I just fell in love with this stuff, and so many of my cards, including every mage card, is going. But yeah, the Jungle Giant stuff was really cool, and also Tarantus, really sweet card, and Giant Anaconda. I played this in Big Druid a lot. It was really cool. You could get this off Barnes and a Giant Anaconda, and then pull like a giant minion like Tarantus, or pull a Deathwing Dragon Lord. I played that a lot at High Legend too. It's a really sweet deck. Hunter got some pretty cool stuff. This card, the Hunter quest made Life Coach quit because he thought it was like, oh, Hunter with value, it's broken, but never very good. But I mean, look at that golden animation. The whole thing rumbles. It was fantastic. Jeweled Macaw was a very good card, but the adapt mechanic was really strong in Un'Goro, especially in like a Crackling Razor Maw, where you would be able to adapt a friendly beast. It could give it poisonous, attack, health, spores, all sorts of stuff. Really flavorful mechanic. And yeah, Hunter got some okay stuff like Razor Maw. Terrasteel Stalker wasn't great yet, but it got really good later. And Swamp King Dread was like a good anti-combo tech. It was a pretty sweet card, but Hunter didn't get a ton, but Hunter was really good already with a lot of aggression. Mage, I literally have every card golden. Mage, I just played the hell out of Mage during Un'Goro. Discover Mage was my favorite deck almost of all time, where you'd have like, you play your Arcanologist in an ice block, you have your glyphs, you could discover stuff. You even could run Shimmering Tempest if you want, Golden Pyros, but even had like Open the Waygate, Molten Reflection, Exodia Mage with Antonidas and Apprentice. So much cool stuff in Mage. You had the Elemental Synergies and Meteor, one of the coolest AoE cards ever. This set was just rad for Mage, and I absolutely loved it. Paladin had a lot of good stuff. Velasca Lidosaur, one of the only quests that don't have golden. Sorry, Kibler, I don't have it golden, but yeah, it was a really flavorful quest, not a very good one. But Paladin got some insane stuff, like Lost in the jungle, Hydrologist, which was the bane of my existence as a mage player because you could get eye for an eye, so your ice block was useless once you were at 1 health, so that was pretty funny. So I remember Toast teching in Voodoo Doctor to play around that back in the day. Look that up, it's hilarious. Spike Ridge Steed, an insanely good card, but really cool card. It made Spellbender meta. I used to run Spellbender to try and counter Spike Ridge Steed. Like, the metagame stuff was so cool. Like all these different techs you could do in the game. It was so much fun. Sunkeeper Tareem, one of the most powerful cards ever, and just, I love this card. It's a really cool paladin card. Vine Cleaver was just value on a weapon, super solid, and Dino Size, pretty rad card. Paladin got a lot of awesome stuff. I really love the Paladin stuff. And Mage got some absurd stuff too. Radiant Elemental, Shadow Visions, Glimmerroot saw lots of play because it rewarded you if you knew the net decks. But the other card, Lyra, you go Lyra Radiant, just do absurd turns, and now you have Sethic Veilweaver and all that, but really flavorful. And the random wasn't Infinite Discoverer at the time. You didn't have study cards. Like, all the spells you got for the most part didn't recreate other spells, so you could get a bunch of random stuff, but it wasn't as absurd as it is today. And even free from Amber, like a Spiteful deck was really solid. You got an 8-drop, or you could like cast it, and really cool stuff even from Priest. Rogue, ugh. Rogue got this card, really toxic, really awful, nerfed like twice directly, 2 more times indirectly. Yeah, not the best look for this expansion, but you know, they can't all be perfect, but there was some really cool stuff. I really liked Razor Petal Lasher. You got a 1-mana Lash. It was just really good with Auctioneer. You could do shares and stuff. Mimic Pod was a part of the Quest Rogue stuff. It's kind of gross, but Sherazin Corpse Flower, one of my favorite cards of all time. The original Dormant card, or one of the original Dormant cards. Every time you play 4 cards in a turn, you revive it, and I love playing this in Miracle Rogue. It was so flavorful, so sweet, and Vilespine, just an absolute powerhouse of a card. Used to be if you played a Deathwing against Rogue, you won the game. Well, Vilespine made that not so true. Shaman got the Murloc quest. Again, not golden. I haven't played a lot of it, but very popular. You still see this play a ton in WoW. People love to play Murlocs, and Megathin's pretty rad, so pretty cool quest. You also had like elemental stuff back here, like Fire Plume, Hot Spring Guardian. Even like I really like Calamos. Calamos was a really cool card. Volcano was such a rad AoE with an amazing animation, still kind of playable today. So really cool stuff from Shaman. Warlock got gypped. They got the 5-star Trump quest, which wasn't quite so 5 stars. This portal just not very good. Corrupting Mist didn't do a lot. This card, you kill yourself. This didn't really work. Pterodax was okay, but not great. Feeding Time, not great. Like, none of these cards were that good, and Warlock really sucked in Angora. It was the one class that stunk, but in Frozen Throne they got Gul'dan, they got Defile, and then Kobolds, they got the most broken cards like ever. So yeah, Warlock became very good later on, but it was like the only non-tier 1, tier 2 class in the meta. So if you were a Warlock player like you are now, and also suffering now, you were kind of suffering during Angora. But every other class had a lot, and so did Warrior. Quest Warrior, very good, very popular. Play a bunch of taunts. You get Ragnaros as your hero power. Really cool. Even like Direhorn Hatchling, super flavorful card. Good value cards. I'll play an Odd Warrior later on. Exploring Goro, a great meme card. Got a lot worse once the Discover bonus went away, but back then that wasn't a thing, so it was more playable. And you have the big taunts and King Mosh. A little expensive for AoE effect, but a really cool card nonetheless. And last we have the Elementals, which were also really cool. Firefly, arguably one of my favorite 1-drops of all time. It's fair, it's cool, it looks sweet, I love it. Glacial Shard, still meta relevant to this day. 1-mana freeze a minion. Elemental, super strong. Sees a lot of play in Shudderwock Shaman these days. Galaka Crawler gave us an answer to Pirates, which were running very insane after the mean streets of Gadgetzin. It gave us some tech options, not really a very healthy tech option, but it was there and was very relevant. Rockpool, one of the best Murlocs ever. This Snail literally saw play. It was a really good card as well. You see the neutrals were just really interesting and really flavorful. Devilsaur Egg's a really rad card. Gluttonous Ooze is my favorite weapon tech ever. You got armor for destroying weapon. I think it's a lot more fair than stealing their weapon with the sticky fingers. That felt a lot more game punishing, not as fun, but really sweet card. Tar Creeper, iconic taunt minion, still decent to this day. Stonehill was insane back in the day. It got you a Tarim, a Tyrian, and Paladin. Other classes ran it. Really sweet card. Flappy Bird sucks. I hate this card. It was garbage. Oh, this with pre-nerf Innervate. Oh, this is another card I do not miss from Ungoro. They weren't all winners, but yeah, that card, bane of my existence. But Megasaur, pretty sweet in Murloc decks. Umbra, cool, greedy card. Elise on the thumbnail, such a flavorful and cool card. Getting that pack felt great. You could Shadow Visions a pack and get all sorts of cool stuff. Really solid card. Bittertide Hydra, great highlights with Volcano, but a good aggro card. Nesting Rock was even cool. That saw play 4/7 taunt, but conditional. And, you know, even Hemet, Volcanosaur here, Volcanosaur, Primordial Drake, Charged Devilsaur led to really cool combos when you could recruit it. And, you know, Ozruk. That's a card, but as you can see, Ungoro, extremely flavorful, really good, impactful cards. Not the most busted in the world, but a ton of fun to play, led to a ton of different decks. And I really hope if they do update Classic as we go along, like add new expansions, one day I can relive the Ungoro meta and see if it was as fun as I remember, because I cannot remember a time where I enjoyed playing Hearthstone more than Ungoro. And I would love to relive that someday, but maybe not. Maybe it will never happen, but I think it'd be really cool if Classic could be updated for that. So let me know in the comments below what your favorite expansions were, what your favorite meta is. Did you love Ungoro as much as I did? And we'll return to some more discussion-based videos in the future, but I thought I'd share some good vibes in this one, because I've been having a lot of fun lately, and I just wanted to have a good fun video. So if you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Have a great day, and stay salty, my friends.